Hey, welcome to Scott's Amateur Woodshop. Today I'm going to show you something that I find a little scary. It's actually something I've been procrastinating on because I'm not sure how it's going to go. And the thing is, I love it when YouTubers show their mistakes because there's a real opportunity for learning there. But you can't show your mistakes unless you're already filming. So I'm nervous about this essentially because I might make a mistake. Um, so let's do it together, and if I make one, we'll fix it. So I've been working on this chair over here, and the joints between the back and the crest rail are what I'm going to work on. So I've got these pieces that I've split out of oak that I will use for the verticals, and I've got the crest rail back here. I kind of propped it up on my grinder stand so it's in the right relationship to the chair. I thought I might as well show you this part too. This is how I'm figuring out the angles, and there's better ways to do it, which probably, I would recommend Peter Galbert's book if you want to make a chair that looks traditionally nice. I'm really enjoying the process of making something that looks very weird and figure it out as I go along. So I'm gonna make a mark to tell me the angles I'm interested in right now. And these are going to be my guides. And the reason I've been nervous about doing this is because I need to put a joint in this. I need to drill a hole and whittle those vertical pieces into a dowel. And the hole has to be big enough to accept a strong piece of wood, but it has to be small enough that this piece of wood is still strong. So I've been nervous about it. So let's see how it goes. I was hoping this 3/8 drill bit would work, and now that I'm looking at it, I think what I want is more like a 5/16. So I'm definitely going to take a moment to be careful and find the proper drill bit. I'm sorry that means this is going to be a longer video, but this is how it happens, and I do on this channel want to show you my reality. The first part of it is pick the wrong drill bit for the video. So there you go. I think the best way to gauge these mortise sizes is, it definitely involves keeping the 1/3 rule in mind, right? Mortise thickness should be about 1/3 of the thickness of the material. But this is a round mortise, so I think I can get away with being a little thicker than that. And I really think the best way to decide involves some amount of eyeballing. You know, wood is a very good material for intuiting sizes of things. We have a good intuition for how strong wood is going to be based on how thick it is. And if we build that intuition, we can do a lot with it. So since I have a round shank bit, I'm going to use a power drill. And I'm putting the point into the center. Remember that line I marked? Well, it's at about that angle. I'm sighting down it in this direction, and in this direction I'm sighting to the center so that I go straight through. And I'm going to pull the trigger and push. I'm drifting, so I'm going to steer. Resighting. Going a little further and resighting. It's important to check your accuracy as you go several times, especially near the beginning, because it can change angle a lot at the beginning. As you go further with a drill hole like this, you don't have to check it quite as often. Now I'm going to gauge my depth. I'm going to put my finger, I'm going to grab the drill like this, holding my finger in the position so that it just reaches as far as I went. I'm going to pull this out, and I can see that I've gone this far, right? I think I want to go a little further, so I'm going to pull my finger back, and I'm going to actually use that as a depth gauge. Okay, that's what it looks like. It's got a little chip in there, but that doesn't matter. You can see my line right there and the hole and its relationship to it. So now I'm going to make my tenon. Now I pre-split out several pieces of wood because for the kind of chair I'm making where it's a little bit freeform, what I like to do is just split a bunch and then pick my favorites. I think I like these two because they're both already very skinny on one end and I want the chair to be light. So let's get rid of these others. So for the tenon, I'm going to use a draw knife, and I'm actually going to take this drill bit and do something kind of strange. I'm going to just touch it to the end, and I'm just going to spin it slightly just until it scores a circle. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. This is a perfect way to gauge the end of the tenon. So you can see, hang on. You can see that point right there and the circle scored around it. That just gives me a place to aim for. And basically this is whittling. But whittling's a little faster with the draw knife than with the normal knife sometimes. I'll try this vertical in my vise. I've got this small draw knife and let's see how it goes. I'm just gonna, this is an angle that you're gauging carefully whenever you're using a draw knife right here. Setting the right angle lets you take off the amount of wood that you want to. I want to be efficient, so I'm taking off the biggest size that I can get away with smoothly, basically. And then as I go, you'll notice that I tend to take off less and less. I don't care if this comes out over long, I can always cut it shorter. I left these pieces of wood long for that reason. Getting pretty close now. I'm going to show you what this looks like up closer, and you'll notice that it's far from perfect. But you'll also notice that the end of it is approaching the shape I want. And this is a good time to check in with the hole and basically see if you're close. So I'll simply try and put these together and to find that it actually starts to go. I'm twisting a little bit, I hear it creaking, that's a good place to stop. And hopefully, this is going to be hard to see on camera, but it slightly burnishes where it's too tight. And yeah, I guess I can't really show that on camera, but it gives you a little indication and you can kind of see where to keep carving. So it's worth doing that once or twice. And refining it. Basically, the first maybe half inch went in, so I'm focused on maybe the next half inch after that, or 3/4 maybe. And I'm taking my time. It's hard to get a perfect cylinder on the first try. Come a little closer to the camera for this part. You can see these. Oh, I'll show you I'll do it the other hand so you can see my line. See my slanted line. Okay. So we'll also get a sense of whether this is lining up in the right direction. I'm using my finger as a depth stop once again. That's how deep I got. That's not deep enough, but I'm getting closer. And you can simply repeat that process for success. Now I'm using a 5/16 drill bit, and I happen to have this dowel plate. So I'm going to try that, see if that works well for me. Usually with this you would pound a dowel all the way through, but in this case I'm going to just try using it to make those witness marks like I would with the hole itself, except this will cut a little with that sharp top edge of the hole instead of merely burnishing. So I'm just going to tap this gently. I'm not going to pound the heck out of it. I'm just going to kind of see how far it goes easily and then pull it out. Now this is a little easier to see on camera. You can basically see it has cut a cylinder. It has left these shavings, and this is a very clear indication for me to do a little carving. And I think there is only a little more at this point. Basically I just cut below that shaving until it's just barely removed. I think I'm there. Let's see if this works. Oh, did it break? Did it bend? What happened? Oh, it actually broke. So I think I will have to carve this further because this just broke off, and I think it's because the end of this was a little checked, and I probably should have cross-cut the last couple inches of this after I started, but I think for the sake of this video I'm going to call it done, since it, before this broke off, it was actually fitting. So there we go. I achieved my goal. I caught a mistake on camera. I think that this is a great one because it's so simple to fix. I'm going to grab a saw, make this nice square ending again, and go a little further. But I think I'll do that off camera. I think you can already tell how this process works, and that I'm just going to have to carve a little further. It can be frustrating sometimes to do these processes that are like guess and check, but I think you saw that it took me only a couple of times checking it. It really wasn't that much time. So I also think that this is a great situation to show because I just conquered my fear. I was literally procrastinating on this because I wasn't sure how it's going to go, and I've gone far enough that I think this is going to work, and so I will finish up those two joints off camera, and I hope to show you a chair soon. I think that's all I've got for today. Please remember to use the buttons down below the screen when you're not in full screen mode, and have a really wonderful day doing something creative like woodworking if you so choose. All right, bye now.